differs from a father's love. And it's really simple. I didn't value, and I can share like 2 stories, 3 stories in one per se, but I didn't understand and value my mother's love till I became an adult. And what I mean by that is that I was nowhere near a sheltered child. I had a very interesting childhood. I can't give you horror stories. I think I lived a very typical South Side of Chicago kid upbringing. Whereas my mom worked 2 jobs. My mom and my father, a single parent household. That's what in reference to. And my mom instilled in me values, and one of the first values was education. The second value was in order how to treat people, and another value was in order to get the things you want in life, you have to work for them. And so at that point, so people think and I'm an only child on my mom's side. I grew up the only child. So people think that, you spoiled and this and that, and, and dating, when I was younger, people think, oh, yes, why they explain so much. And people don't understand, like, don't go with stereotypes. My mom taught me to work and bust my ass in order to get what I wanted. And with that, I had my first job when I was 14 years old. I had my first real job when I was 15 years old. And I learned at that point how to value a dollar, how when you earn your own money, I was young, you're gonna spend and splurge at times because your responsibility is minimal. But I went through different things. My mom we went through hard times like any other family in America. And I had to step up at a young age to be the man in my house and be able to take care of my mom and be able to take care of myself and be able to help and assist. And one of the things I regret, I felt like I didn't understand that I was a young adult. I felt like I was working for myself and developed a selfish behavior, not understanding that the sacrifices my mom did for me, and I didn't value that. I didn't understand how only thing I had to do was do right in school, come home, clean the house, do chores, and come home in a respectful time and the time that was given to me. And I understood that as an adult. I understood that when I had my own child. I understood that my mom wasn't mean and evil, and as I thought, my mom had a strong right hand. And one of the biggest regrets I had is at the age of 13, I remember my mom, we were out at the laundromat, and I was acting silly, and my mom was a disciplinary. Like, my mom was real strict. She didn't play them games. She was really sweet, but she didn't play no games. And because she knew she had to play both roles. And my mom, I think we was in public and my mom hit me, like she slapped me. I was being silly or getting on her or something. It was deserving. But in the same breath that happened, I told my mom to her face that I hate her. And that was one of the biggest regrets I ever had, because my mom did the funniest thing. We came home, and when we came home from the laundromat, my mom was quiet. I have never seen my mom this quiet before. She made me breakfast, and I quote, my mom said, "Get your shit and go. Since you hate me so much, go." My mom cooked for me, gave me bus fare, told me to go to your uncle's, go to your uncle's house, go somewhere. And I learned at that point a quick lesson of like how powerful the tongue is. My mom didn't put me out because she didn't care. She put me out because I hurt her feelings. Because all the sacrifices and everything that she did, and I didn't understand this until years later. So when I became an adult and became my own. My mom let me back in the house. I wrote a letter. This is so funny. I wrote a letter to my mom apologizing. I was real big in school. I was real big on, education, English. Long story, but I used to love to write. And I wrote my mom a letter apologizing for cursing at, and not cursing at her, for telling her I hate her. And my mom still to this date has that letter. And when she showed me that letter, I almost cried because, and not to be soft, but it's because that's how much I knew it meant to my mom that, one, what I said was very wrong. And two, is that she held me accountable all that time, all those years, in the words I said and expressed in that letter. And I know that sometimes we don't. I know some people that don't have any kind of relationships with their mother because they fall out. Some are very understandable. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to sit here and say, "Oh, it's your mom," or don't be. No, some people, some mothers out here, some parents out here wicked. But you got to understand the difference between somebody between tough love and just somebody that don't care about you. Yes, parents are going to be on your ass and they're going to make sure you do what you need to do. But a mother's love is unconditional. It's unconditional. A mother's love is unconditional and is heartfelt and is sincere. And I've seen my mom give me her last. I've seen my throughout college when I paid for my first few years of college. My mom assisted, but I've seen her sacrifice when I didn't have, when I went without, when I got beside myself. My mother was in there in my corner. And typically I became a grown ass man and went out on my own and was able to accomplish things in life. But it was with her guidance and words that I always remembered. And I just want to send a special shout out to all the mothers and single mothers out there. I know it's rough. I know it's hard. I know us as fathers sometimes, a lot of us don't know how to be fathers. For real. And I think that we have to learn that we have to all be able to work together. In all honesty, it's in a woman's nature to be a nurturer and a carer and a caregiver per se. And men have to learn how to be a father. Especially the ones who don't come from that in that household. Now we may have had examples of, we may have relatives that are married and et cetera, and then we see great examples, but it's different when you're in the same household. And so my son is 13, and over these last 13 years, I'm still learning how to be a father, and it never stops. Being a parent never stops. Being a mother, being a father never stops. But I was having a great argument, not an argument, but more of a discussion on why is Mother's Day so heavily put on a pedestal compared to Father's Day. And it's not just because, a woman gives birth and all that. That's part of it. The other part is that a mother's love is unconditional. If you got the right woman in your life, you can tell her love is unconditional. Men, we love on conditions. As men, we have to be able to admit that. But a woman's love, a mother's love is unconditional. And that's why when they're hurt, that's why it's hurt so much. Because they give their all. They pour their all into what and who they love. And so I can say now, after 37 years, I truly understand that a mother's love is unconditional, because I've seen my mom at her weakest point and still being a mother, and I've seen other mothers display the same thing. So I know a lot of women feel like it's unappreciated, and for men this and that. It's just that sometimes we just don't know how to just express our gratitude. And I'm speaking as a Man Cave show, and this is Man Cave approved. For the fellas that can't speak up and express themselves, because sometimes it's hard for men to express their gratitude, I want to speak on behalf of them and say, mothers, we appreciate you all the mother figures. You got, nowadays in this generation, you got a lot of, mothers raising, grandmothers raising kids, and for those who still have grandmothers, we don't have Big Mama in the house no more like growing up. Big Mama is like, maybe 45 years old. I know y'all laughing, but it's true, but that's a difference. So I just wanted to be known that we need to definitely appreciate and love our mothers, especially while we have them here, because you never know. Like I wanted to be known that, and if for those who have lost their mothers, right, is that if you were able to grow up with your mom and be an adult and lose your mom as an adult, hold on to those values and don't mourn and hold on to the death and the loss of your mother. Hold on to the values and the memories and push on. And that's one thing I feel that helps. My grandmother, I was young when I lost my grandmother, but I was real close to my grandmother and didn't understand until I got an adult how much my grandmother loved me and cared for me. And my mom would tell me as an adult is that I used to call my grandmother Gran. She said she used to light up when I called her that. And my grandmother was such stern woman, and you couldn't read her well. Like, you didn't know what mood she was in. And beautiful woman, as well as my mother, but classy. Same thing, that's instilled in all my family members, and just definitely just wanted to say that, and it was on my heart to say. And I don't know how it feels to lose a mother, but a mother figure, yes. But if you have yours, love her. If you don't have yours, love her and express her love. Express the love you have for your mother by expressing and displaying the values and morals she taught you into your kids and into your everyday life. And I just wanted to say that. That's all. So I'm going to end the note on that with one, and I wanted to say to everyone, have a great Mother's Day weekend. If you're out and about tonight, enjoying a great meal with your family, enjoy. If you're enjoying tomorrow, having church with your family, and if you're blessed to have your grandmother and mother, enjoy those times. So join me Monday right here on the Man Cave Show, Simply United Radio. I give you the weekend recap. We're going to talk about, call in, we're going to talk about what you get for Mother's Day. Did you like your gift? Was it thoughtful enough? Etc. We're going to talk about some news that you can use. Then, of course, that comes on at 9 on Monday. Thursday, regular time, 8 to 10 p.m. And Saturday, 8 to 10 p.m. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. And I want to say, let me stop the music on this one, y'all. I want to say thank you all for not only making this show number one on Simply United Radio. It's one of the speaker apps, fastest growing shows. I'm up to 5,000 plays, and I just want to thank you all. Yes. And I want to thank you all. And I did have an announcement. I'm sorry, I forgot. I had an announcement on a serious note. So, there's a situation I wanted to talk about. I'm glad I got the message. Appreciate it, bro, if you're listening. There is a Shell gas station, and I want everybody to pay attention to this. There's a Shell gas station, and I'm going to give you the address. The address here in Atlanta is 490 Whitehall Street, Atlanta, Georgia, 30303. And I'm going to read a little bit of the situation, and minus the